We also want to bring in Julie Zalla. She's the business education teacher and DECA advisor over at West Bloomfield High School. Great to have you with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Julie, my twin sister was in DECA in Ohio way back in the day, and I would imagine the program has probably changed a little bit since she was a member of that. But for those not aware of this program, what exactly is DECA, but also, and why is it important to have it in our high schools right now?
Well, actually, I was in it when I was at West Bloomfield High School, so probably might have been in at the same time as your sister. And what it used to be called was, DECA was a Distributive Education Club of America. Now we call it an Association of Marketing Students, because it used to be really a condensed of people that were just in the United States. But now it is in 9 countries outside of the United States as well. And it's an association of marketing students that compete at a district, state, and an international level for not only scholarships for college, but also for recognition for their high school districts, for the state in which they belong, and also for their country. And it's an association of 240,000 students at all the high schools, and they also have a collegiate level as well. And they compete in everything from sports and entertainment marketing to finance to hotel and lodging, an area of interest of theirs. And they compete in either a written project or a role play simulation or something that is going to be like a virtual business challenge online, something of interest to them that is going to help and them really kind of learn more about a career they might want to pursue. And they get a lot of knowledge out of it. They do 20, 30-page research papers. So it's very fun, very exciting.
A 20, 30-page research paper on top of your regular homework as well. But I will say the great thing about this, it's teaching the students about networking, which is so vital in their success in life post high school. But really, business community is all about networking.
Yes, it is. And we're so lucky that within our community, West Bloomfield and outside of it, but especially in West Bloomfield, that our business leaders and our community members will offer their expertise to come in and work with our students. They allow them to research their businesses, to explore them, even to work inside them or to work with them to learn more hands-on and what it takes to work and to pursue a career in there. And so they're learning a lot outside of the school as well.
With that, Julie, though, I also wonder, can you tell us a little bit more about how your program has been impacted during the pandemic and the COVID-19 crisis? Because for so many of these students, it's about internships, and so many companies have put internships on hold during the crisis.
So we traditionally were one of the largest, I think we actually are the largest club at our high school. So we have about 250 students of our student body that belong and join DECA as a choice of theirs. They want to do it. And so this year we have about half that amount that actually are participating, because it's hard to do doing it just through the computers, because we've not been in the school itself. So that was one thing that impacted us. But still, with our 100 members or so that have done this, we've worked with them online. We've been able to do it virtually, and we have almost all of those 100 members who have moved on to the state level. So we still were able to get them to participate, working through virtual opportunities. And we were very fortunate that DECA offered them the opportunity to still contribute and work with these business leaders by using things such as Zoom and other ways to work with them with the written projects, to do a role play with them where they still work with those business leaders just in a different format, but still having those same experiences. So we just use different tools, but getting the same outcome.
So what do students need to do to be able to take advantage of this program?
In most schools, in our particular school, they have to be taking a co-curricular marketing related course. So anything from marketing to sports marketing to fashion to accounting to economics, anything that is a co-curricular course, they may participate with DECA. And it's the same situation for most schools across the entire country or the world, the same situation. And that is because what they learn in the class is what they need to know in order to do the competitions, and will give them the tools that they need to find success.
So what type of scholarships could a student potentially take advantage of after participating in the DECA program?
So they give out over $250,000 in scholarships a year. It actually ends up being a lot more than that. So 2 years ago, we have a student that got a $10,000 scholarship from Marriott, and so they were able to use that. In the past few years, we've had a number of students that have earned the virtual business scholarship. So they have ranged in cash from anything from $1,500 to $10,000 per person. And those allowed them to use those towards anything they wanted to towards college. They weren't limited in those. And that is because our students have ranged from first to third place in the world for virtual business. So they worked hard in that. And so those are like the top prizes in those. But then even more so, our students have had opportunities. They've gotten the opportunity to earn jobs and been guaranteed jobs once they get out of college. And so some of those are even more exciting.
Oh my God, that's like the most important thing. Julie Zalla with us here on the MegaCast. She's the business education teacher and DECA advisor over at the West Bloomfield High School. Has enrollment in your program been up or down during the COVID-19 crisis?
It's been up consistently for the past probably 7 or 8 years. This year it's been down with COVID. I anticipate it's going to probably go back up next year. But unfortunately, it was down just because it's so hard for some of the students to learn how to do this in a virtual environment. We did our best to try and make it work for the 100 kids that ended up doing it, our students. But it was about half of the students we traditionally have.
Yeah, but we also understand that these kids have to be zoomed out. You know, I sit here for 2 hours a day for this program, but then I'm taking a class on Tuesdays and Thursdays for an additional 2 hours, and that 4 hours, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to get off the computer. So for these kids and, you know, students are doing amazing at adapting to this crisis and trying to learn the best they can. So even if they're not participating as much as they will, but it really is a great program for them to be able to try to learn these networking skills that are going to serve them throughout their lives.
Yes, we're very fortunate. We have some students that have gone on to do some really tremendous things and are really exciting, and we're happy to see them. And we have some superstars out there, so it's exciting.
So Julie, with that though, how has it changed for you to have to try to teach this program and advise this program as well?
We have really changed everything, I will say that. But we have learned so many tools, and some that we won't go back to the ways we taught before. Nearpod, you know, these different ways of teaching, engaging students, they're so exciting. That are ways to get the students involved that have really transformed teaching to see ways that we never thought were possible. And so I think that there are ways such as interviewing students and getting them involved that save time, that really we are able to find out more about our students and find out more what works with them. And I think some of those things are the things that we will take, even though we're going back like Thursday this week, we will still continue to use.
How do you think the business community is going to be changed by this pandemic? Because you are seeing so many jobs now posted, remote work available. Because before, so many jobs could seem limited because of the location. And now it seems like the world is opening up because remote work is now a possibility.
I think we're going to see a lot of work from anywhere. And I think that that's really an exciting opportunity for students. I think where we saw a lot of, for all of us, I think where a lot of times we thought that you had to move from Michigan to be able to pursue a career, you could probably stay in Michigan. I also think we're going to bring a lot of people to Michigan and maybe thought they needed to move elsewhere. I was just talking to a couple businesses, and they are looking to come to Michigan because, it's less expensive to live here and they have opportunities. And they were asking if I knew of any former students that would be interested in a job. And I'm like, yes, I know some students that are graduating. That would be perfect. So I think it's going to be a great opportunity to get some big companies, maybe out of California and other places, to come this way.
See, it just opens up new worlds. There's always a silver lining, but with this too, I feel like do you feel like this is a full circle for you in your personal life, because you were once a member of DECA and now you're advising, you're leading these students. What's this meant for you?
It means so much because when I was in high school, I had a mentor who was my teacher, and his name was Jerry Whitlock, who started the program at West Bloomfield. And he was a true mentor of mine. And then when I started at West Bloomfield, he was my mentor as a new teacher. And when he retired, I kind of took over the program along with a couple other teachers. And he was so influential to my life in so many ways. When I was in college, he wrote me letters and stayed in contact with me. We didn't have email and things like that back then. And my favorite part of my job is the communication. And I keep in contact through Facebook and other ways with so many of my students. They don't just leave and go out and graduate. And I keep in contact with them. Some of them are in 30s, they have kids, almost 40. And I love to see what they're doing, and we keep in contact. Some of them, I run into in the business world, and they come back and they help our students. And that's important to me. It's the communication and the relationships. And that's what this job comes down to. It's not a job, it's a career,
But you know what, though, that also says a lot about who you are as a person, that they want to come back and continue to reach out and to help the future students as well. With that, quickly before we let you go, we have like another minute or two here left with you on the MegaCast. What advice would you give to some of these high school students? Because one thing we are seeing too is there is a push for students to not necessarily go that traditional path of a college education. We need people in trade industries, but also in other industries as well, that maybe that traditional path that's been pushed for really hard for like the last 10, 15, 20 years may not be the right path for them.
I'm a very strong believer in taking elective classes, trying some things out that you wouldn't necessarily take. I don't think that there is a right path for every student. Some students are traditional students and some students are not. I think that as we learn more and more, there are going to be so many opportunities that are out there that you've never dreamed possible. So find something that you're passionate about, pursue it, learn more about it. There's not everything that you've always heard about. Not every student's going to have to go to college. There are trade schools, there are other schools that are going to lead to you to many possibilities, and follow your passion.
Yeah, I feel like some of these high school students, even at junior high, they're already saying, I want to be A, B, C, D, and E. And it was like, college was about figuring out what you want to do. I started out in international business. How I ended up then was like, okay, PR, and ended up as a reporter. It was never on my genre, but it's because college allows you to explore. And I feel like some of these students get on a path and they don't take these classes that open up their minds to what could be their hidden gems. So
a lot of times they get to college and they spend 2 years and then they go another path, and you got to explore and learn more. And there's so many opportunities now with everything that's happening in the world. So many opportunities are out there.
Well, we are so grateful for you and your time today on the MegaCast. So thank you for what you're doing, and also, for helping to lead these students in a different direction, and putting them on a path of success. It's great to have you with us here on the MegaCast.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.